I was standing in the frozen foods aisle wearing a pink skirt and my favorite blonde wig when I heard his voice behind me. Tom? Is that you? My entire body went cold. I knew that voice. Had been listening to it in my daydreams for 3 years. Had memorized every laugh and tone and inflection. It belonged to Paul Walker, and he was standing right behind me, seeing me exactly the way I had always feared someone would see me. My name is Tom Hanks, and this is the story of how the worst moment of my life taught me the most important lesson I ever learned. Paul and I had been friends since middle school. Not best friends exactly, but close enough that we ate lunch together sometimes and texted about homework and video games. He was one of those people who was nice to everyone. Never joined in when other kids made fun of me for being small and quiet and not very good at sports. I had been in love with him since freshman year. Maybe earlier than that if I am being honest. But Paul was straight and popular and dating a girl named Jennifer who looked like she belonged in magazines. Meanwhile, I was the shy art kid who spent most of lunch period hiding in the library. Paul had no idea I was gay. Had no idea I spent every night transforming myself into someone named Taylor who wore dresses and makeup and felt more real than Tom ever did. Had no idea that I drove 40 minutes away to this grocery store specifically because nobody from school would ever see me here. Except Paul was seeing me now. And I wanted to die. I turned around slowly, hoping maybe I had imagined his voice. But no. There he was standing 10 feet away, holding a basket of groceries and staring at me with wide eyes. Behind him was his older brother Jordan, who I recognized from photos. "It is you," Paul said. He was not laughing or looking disgusted. Just surprised. "I almost did not recognize you. You look so different." "I can't explain," I started to say, but my voice came out wrong. Too high. Too feminine. The voice I used when I was Taylor instead of Tom. "You do not have to explain anything," Paul said quickly. "I just did not expect to see you here. Or looking like this, I guess." Jordan was staring at me now too. He looked curious rather than judgmental, but having both Walker brothers watching me felt like being under a spotlight I could not escape. "This is my friend Tom from school," Paul told his brother. Then to me he said, "This is Jordan. He just moved back home for a few months." "Nice to meet you," Jordan said. He looked me up and down, taking in the skirt and wig and makeup. "That color really suits you, by the way. Not everyone can pull off pink." I did not know what to say. This whole situation felt unreal. Like a nightmare I could not wake up from. "Are you shopping for something specific?" Paul asked. He was being so aggressively normal about this that it was almost worse than if he had just laughed and left. "Jordan and I are making dinner tonight. You should come over if you want." "I should probably go," I said, backing away from them. "Wait, Tom," Paul said. "Can we talk for a second? Just you and me." Jordan took the hint and walked away to look at frozen pizzas. Paul moved closer to me until we were standing next to the ice cream freezers. "Listen, I do not want to make this weird," he said quietly. "But are you okay? You look kind of freaked out." "I am fine." I lied. This is just not how I wanted anyone from school to find out about this part of my life. "Find out about what?" "That you like wearing feminine clothes." Paul shrugged. "Who cares? It is not hurting anyone." "People at school would care," I said. "They would tear me apart if they knew." Paul was quiet for a moment. Then he said something I was not expecting. "I have known for a while, actually. About you being into feminine stuff, I mean." My heart stopped. "What?" "I saw you at the mall a few months ago. You probably did not notice me, but I recognized you even in the dress and wig. I did not say anything because I figured you were keeping it private for a reason." I felt like the floor was falling out from under me. Paul had known for months. Had seen me as Taylor and never said a word. Had kept being friends with Tom while knowing this huge secret about me. "Why did you not tell me you saw me?" I asked. "Because it was not my business," he said simply. "Everyone has parts of themselves they keep private. I just wanted you to know that I knew, and I did not think you were weird or wrong or anything negative like that." Something in the way he said it made me look at him more carefully. There was something else behind his words. Something personal. "Paul, what are you really saying?" He glanced back at Jordan, who was still pretending to be interested in frozen food. Then he looked at me with an expression I could not quite read. Jordan moved back home because he came out to our parents, Paul said quietly. He told them he was gay and dating someone, and they kicked him out. He has been crashing with me at my apartment near campus while he figures things out. I did not know you had an apartment, I said stupidly. Yeah, I moved out last year. Could not handle living at home anymore. He paused. Our parents are not great with anything they consider different. Jordan was brave enough to be honest about who he is. I am still figuring out if I have that same courage. The way he said that last part made something click in my head. Paul was not just talking about his brother. Are you saying what I think you are saying? I whispered. I am saying I understand more than you think I do, Paul said. I am saying that seeing you be brave enough to dress how you want even if you have to drive 40 minutes away to do it makes me feel like maybe someday I can be that brave too. We stood there in the frozen foods aisle looking at each other while my entire understanding of Paul rearranged itself. He was not the straight popular guy I had been pining after for years. He was someone struggling with his own secrets. Someone who saw me being myself and felt inspired instead of disgusted. Do you want to come over for dinner? He asked again. For real this time. As yourself. As Taylor, if that is who you feel like being right now. I said yes. Paul's apartment was small but comfortable. Jordan cooked pasta while Paul and I sat on the couch talking about things we had never discussed before. About feeling different. About hiding parts of ourselves. About being scared of what people would think if they knew the truth. I have had a crush on you for 3 years, I admitted at some point during the conversation. The words just tumbled out before I could stop them. Paul looked at me with surprise and something else. Something that might have been hope. Really, he said. You never seemed interested in me that way. I thought you were straight, I said. I thought there was no point in letting myself feel what I was feeling. I thought the same thing about you, he said quietly. I mean, I knew you were into guys because Jordan has really good radar for that stuff and he told me he thought you were gay. But you always seemed so closed off. So careful not to let anyone see the real you. Jordan called us into the kitchen for dinner. The 3 of us ate pasta and talked about everything from music to college plans to what it was like growing up in families that did not understand difference. The hardest part is not the rejection, Jordan said at one point. It is realizing that the people who raised you love an idea of who you are more than they love the actual you. Once you understand that, everything changes. After dinner, Paul walked me to my car. We stood in the parking lot under yellow streetlights, and I knew something important was about to happen. Something that would change things between us forever. I really like you, Tom, Paul said. Or Taylor. Or whoever you want to be. I like all of it. I like you too, I said. I have liked you for so long it feels like part of who I am now. He reached out and touched my face gently. His hand was warm against my cheek. For a moment I thought he was going to kiss me and my heart was beating so hard I could barely breathe. But then he pulled his hand away and stepped back. I cannot do this, he said. His voice was shaking. I wanna, but I cannot. Not yet. Why not? Because I am not ready, he said. I am not as brave as you are, Tom. I am not ready for people at school to know I am gay. I am not ready for my parents to disown me like they did Jordan. I am not ready to lose the life I have built, even if that life is not entirely honest. I felt something break inside my chest. So what happens now? I do not know, he said honestly. I wish I could be different. I wish I could be brave enough to love you the way you deserve to be loved. But right now I am just a coward who is too scared to be himself. I drove home that night crying so hard I had to pull over twice. The makeup I had worked so hard on ran down my face in black streaks. The pink skirt felt ridiculous now. The blonde wig felt like a costume instead of an expression of who I really was. For weeks I could not look at Paul without feeling that same heartbreak all over again. He would smile at me in the hallways and I would remember the way he touched my face in that parking lot. The way he said he liked all of me. The way he was not brave enough to actually follow through. I thought about giving up on being Taylor. Thought about throwing away all the feminine clothes and makeup and wigs. If expressing my true self only led to loving people who could not love me back then, what was the point? But something Jordan had said stuck with me. About how the people who love an idea of you will never love the real you. About how understanding that changes everything. Paul loved the idea of me. Loved the fantasy of being with someone brave and honest and authentic. But he was not ready to do the work required to actually have that relationship. Was not ready to give up his comfortable, closeted life for something real. And I deserved someone who was ready. Someone who could love me as both Tom and Taylor without conditions or hesitation. Someone brave enough to be honest about who they were and what they wanted. 6 months later, Paul moved away for college. We never talked about that night at his apartment. Never addressed the almost kiss or the confession or any of it. He just disappeared into his new life, and I stayed behind trying to figure out mine. It hurt for a long time. Still hurts sometimes if I am being honest. But it also taught me the most important lesson I ever learned. You cannot love someone into being brave. You cannot wait around hoping they will become ready to choose you. You cannot sacrifice your own authenticity trying to make yourself easier for someone else to accept. Only thing you can do is keep being yourself. Keep expressing the parts of you that feel most real, even when it is scary. Keep hoping that someday someone will see all of you and love all of you without hesitation. Paul seeing me as a femboy changed everything. But not in the way I thought it would. It did not lead to love or acceptance or happily ever after. It led to heartbreak and disappointment and hard truths about what I actually deserve. And maybe that is the more important lesson anyway. Maybe learning what you deserve is more valuable than getting what you want. I am still Taylor whenever I want to be. Still wearing dresses and makeup and wigs. Still expressing the feminine parts of myself that feel real and important and true. But now I do it for me instead of hoping someone will see me and finally love me. Because the right person will see me and love me without conditions. Will be brave enough to claim me publicly and privately. Will choose honesty over comfort and authenticity over easy. Paul was not that person. And that is okay. His cowardice taught me about my own courage. His inability to love me taught me how to love myself. Sometimes the best love stories are the ones that do not work out. The ones that break your heart but teach you exactly what you are worth. The ones that hurt but make you stronger. This is mine. And I am grateful for it even though it did not end the way I wanted. Because it ended with me understanding something essential about love and bravery, and what it means to choose yourself even when someone else will not choose you. That is worth more than any almost kiss in any parking lot could ever be. If you enjoyed this story, you can find more like it in my Femboy and Cross-Dressing Stories bundle. 5 complete stories available now on Amazon for just $4.99. Until next time, keep exploring, feeling, and becoming who you are.